Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CEO and Market Expert interviews. I'm your host, Lucian. Some of you know me as Triangle Investor from X or former Twitter. Today, I'm joined by CEO of Pegasus Resources, an exploration company with uranium assets in Utah and at the Athabasca Basin, as well as precious metals project in BC. Their CEO, Timmins, is today with us. Chris, welcome. Great to have you.
Hey, it's good to be here again.
Yeah. First of all, Chris, I want to congratulate you on your first year as the CEO of Pegasus Resources. Congrats.
Thank you very much. It's been a great year.
Definitely. And in that direction, I want to ask you one question. So what happened? What happened with the old management, and how come that you took the helm of Pegasus 1 year ago? Tell us what happened.
Basically, it really is. I started off as an investor at Pegasus Resources. I started investing them back in 2019, 2020, somewhere right around that area there. And, I started investing slowly. They moved into uranium in 2021, and I really loved the projects they had. Got very excited. Me and a group of investors invested a lot of money into Pegasus, basically. And we thought the management was going to follow through on these projects and create some value for everyone. And as 2021 rolled along and 2022 rolled along, nothing was getting done. So we raised our concerns with management. And at the end of the day, management wasn't willing to do what we wanted. So as investors, we kind of asked them to step aside, and they did. And I took over the company. So basically, I just got tired of being run around by management, and we had enough shares in the company to bring me in as CEO. So that's kind of what happened. I mean, it's not pretty, but it is what happened. And honestly, it's been great for all investors. It was, we spent the summer getting myself used to the company, reaching out to our investor base and talking to everyone. Yeah. And we just started August. We really started putting our foot to the metal and working these properties and generating news. And it's been really great, honestly. Like, even the old investors are on board now. So overall, it's been a great experience for me personally, as well as for the company.
Definitely, Chris, definitely. Chris, let's move to uranium market questions. What do you think about the uranium market today versus the 1 year ago when you become a CEO? In your opinion, exactly this 1 year period was among the most transformative in the last few years or even decades, I believe. So what's your take on the uranium market current situation?
Well, I really like the market in 2020, 2021. It's only gotten better since then. Obviously, as you know, they keep growing demand constantly. Every time we turn around, there's another reactor being, continued operation. There's more reactors being built constantly. We've got the USA and UK talking about tripling their nuclear power energy. So, and then of course, the small modular reactors, one of my favorites, coming into the market. And, it started off kind of slow. Like, everyone's kind of like, SMR is going to get adopted. And every year, month that goes by, I think that's going to happen. Like, it just gets stronger and stronger. So we've really just got a situation where the demand for uranium is just going to keep going up for the near future. And that could be anywhere from the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even farther out. But, let's just focus on the next 5 years. I think there's going to be very exciting in the uranium sector. We've really got a crunch here going on where supply is just dwindling and demand is growing. So I think we're in for some very exciting times here. And Pegasus is really glad that we're involved in this sector. And we have the properties we have here. So we think we can contribute something to this supply deficit that we're all seeing.
Okay. What about uranium equities? How do you see their heading going forward?
Well, right now we've seen Kazatomprom and Cameco kind of hit a wall as far as their production goes. Like, they've missed some targets here, which is really bullish for the sector overall. I don't know what it means for them. It's as an investor, I'd be a little bit cautious on their valuations probably for the next little bit until the markets had a chance to really digest what's going on. But overall, I think the producers are still a great bet for anyone that's just looking for a safe way to play the sector. Producers are probably going to generate lots of revenue just off their pounds for sale, even though some of them have contracted some pretty poor pricing with some So they're probably kicking their butts here now when they look back a couple of years ago when they were writing these contracts. But
Definitely.
overall, I think producers are a great place to be. And of course, that also leads to the developers. So developers, they're catching some, they're getting some excitement here from the retail investors and the institutionals. So really overall, the sector is looking great. Explorers, we're still pretty ignored. I think you'd agree for the last couple
Yeah.
of months, we pretty much just traded sideways, some peaks and valleys along the way, but overall as a group, we really haven't moved much.
Agree.
So I think our day is due. Like we're going to get some love from the market sooner or later. I mean, they have to find new uranium somewhere. And the only way we're going to do that is with these exploration companies. Will we all find something? No. But will some of us? Yes.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to find it, though, is to go out and actually work our property. So for Pegasus, we're just going to do our part. We're going to go work our land. We're going to see if we've got uranium there, and then we're going to see if it's economical. And then we'll go from there. If we've got economical deposits, we'll sit down, we'll figure out a plan for them, and we'll move them forward. But as far as the sector goes, I think it's a great place to be. And we're very happy that we are uranium exploration company.
For finding uranium, you have to have the people on board. So you announced you had two press releases recent. One is the appointment of a new member of advisory board, and you have a new member on board of the directors. So tell us
Yeah.
more about Mr. Derek Strickland. Who is he? What does he brings to the company, etc.
Well, adding Derek to our board of directors has been great. He's got over 35 years experience in the exploration sector. He's been focused on things like gold, uranium, copper, all the things that, like we have and that we love as investors. He's also been director of PDAC. So he's well known around the mining industry just through his connections with PDAC, as well as his association with the Mineral Exploration AME. So really, Derek's got a great history. He's a great asset for us, and we're very lucky to have him come on board. And we think it speaks volumes to what we're trying to do here at Pegasus.
Yeah, definitely. Same question for Mr. Mike Magrum. What does he brings? What's his background, prior roles, etc. And what do you think is the most important value that he brings to the company?
Mike's another great one. PDAC also been involved with PDAC in the past. Mike's also was a part of the Northwest Territories Chamber of Mines. So again, another gentleman with lots of exposure to the industry, well known around the industry. He's also was part of a company that was what was that company? Exemplar Energy. They were a Namibian company that were uranium explorers, and their market cap peaked out at close to $1 billion. So, I mean, Mike's been around some big companies, and he's got a great history. He was also a part of a company called Terra Ventures Inc., and they were part of the team that discovered the Rough Rider uranium deposit that eventually ended up into Rio Tinto. So again, Mr. Magnum was another great ad for us. Lots of industry experience, over 50 years actually experience in the industry. Another well-known gentleman that understands exploration and the regulatory side of things. So between these two gentlemen and Jody Daru, we have a pretty stacked board. Like we're sitting very nice as far as the knowledge side of things go. So we're very happy, and we think that we've built a great team here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of experience for a $4 million market cap company.
Yeah.
Definitely. And some pretty known names on the board, especially like you mentioned, Jody Darouge is on your advisory board.
Yeah.
So definitely great job, Chris. Let's move to project developments. But before we do that, let's clarify what happened with other three projects in the Athabasca you held till recently: Muzzy Lake, Wollaston, and Bentley Lake. As I remember, those were not in your focus back then, but nevertheless, tell us what happened.
So what happened was these properties were picked up in 2021 along with Pine Channel. So we picked up all these properties in the Athabasca Basin fall of 2021. With the basin, you have work credits. So to keep your properties in good standing, meaning that you keep ownership of the properties, you have to do work. Now, these work credits are not cheap, actually. For our Wollaston, Bentley, and our Muzzy Lake properties, our commitment over 2 years was close to $730,000, $750,000. Of course, I didn't take over the company till 2023, and nothing was done prior. So we tried to come up with ways to fund these projects and stuff, but it just really wasn't feasible at the end of the day. They're very greenfield projects, no work's been done on them. So we had to make some hard choices, and part of those choices were just to let the claims go. To come up with that kind of money to keep greenfield projects just wasn't feasible for a company at our stage. That's something more for the bigger companies in the basin to do, you know, the ones that have millions of dollars in their bank accounts and they have the cash basically to do the work. So we had to make some decisions, and we decided to let those claims lapse and just focus on keeping Pine Channel in good standing, which we have done. So now we know we got Pine Channel. We've kept that property in good standing. We have the money to keep that property in good standing for another couple of years heading forward. So we'll focus on Pine Channel in the Athabasca Basin. We do have the drill permit for that property, as you know. So the property is drill ready. We will do some work on it again to keep it in good standing, and we'll just go from there. But for now, we're very happy with the projects we have in the basin, and we're going to focus on Utah.
Yeah, definitely. We will discuss Pine Channel, and I wanted to ask you first about Utah. Give us an overview of the Energy Sands project, and tell us more about the exploration program that you completed some 10 days ago on the property.
Sure. So this Energy Sands project's in a great area. It's within traveling distance to all the mills that are located in Utah. Obviously, that's the 2 mills that are south of us. We're in Emery County. And then we've got Western Uranium, Vanadium, as a neighbor. Western Uranium, they always have trouble saying their name. WUC.
WUC, yeah.
WUC. Okay. They're actually proposing to build a mill just up the road from us, like 6 miles away. They're going to start the ball rolling on that, and they plan to have that being built by 2026. So really, the property's got great location. The property's crisscrossed with roads. So as far as exploration, future drilling goes, we're really good shape for that. With the program we just did, they actually scouted out all the places where we could put drill pads in the event that we decide to drill this property, which is looking very likely. So the project's got great location with closeology to known deposits, which Western Uranium has 4 million pounds roughly just up the road from us within a couple of miles. So we're a long trend of these known deposits. We're right close to a proposed mill. We also have 2 other mills just down the road from us, well within traveling distance. So as far as milling agreements go, the area is great. Like for a company our size, we can just find the deposits. We're really confident that we can find a milling partner for any uranium ore that we decide to process and produce. So again, the project's just got everything going for it. It's got a long trend of known deposits. It's got a great location. The property has access to roads. So really getting a program done here is going to be really easy to accomplish at the end of the day. And Utah is mining friendly, so permitting shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, like I said, you just finished exploration work some 10 days ago. Tell us what are the current results telling you. I know that you are waiting for the detailed analysis on that, but tell us what have you learned from the results you received till now?
Sure. The early results here, which were all done by, mapping, sampling, using a spectrometer to measure the uranium levels, which is an acceptable practice, and hence why we're allowed to news release some of these early results to the public, which is great. But what we saw is very encouraging. It shows us we have similar geology to WUC, just again, a couple miles away from us, a long trend. So we now know that we are very similar geology, which is what we suspected all along. We had some great early results come back. A 7,800 ppm, which is about 0.78% uranium. We had some over range samples, which we are obviously very excited to see what the lab comes back with on them. So just really what we're seeing here is very exciting. We think there's something here. We think we can turn this into a resource. Again, we need to have the labs come back and really just verify these early indicators, but we're very excited. We think we've got something here, and we think we can turn this into a resource.
Yeah, definitely. And when you see the press release and you see that, like you said, some samples were off scale with more than 10,000 ppm, So that really is encouraging
It is. It's
for,
very encouraging. I mean, the drill bit's going to tell the tale at the end of the day.
of course.
But again, we do have, like, we can look at WC in the area who's drilled again and go look at their past stuff. We're seeing very similar stuff. So
Okay,
we're very
okay.
promising.
Definitely. And how much of the property was explored? And are these off-scale reading on the old claims or the new ones you picked up recently?
The off scales kind of covered both, actually. We kind of a little bit of both. So the new land we staked was obviously a good choice. We are seeing uranium on that property. So it was a good choice at the end of the day to add that. So overall, the whole project was walked and checked out. So we have a really good idea now of what we have on the surface. One thing about Utah is a lot of the formations and stuff, they dive underground. So even if you didn't see encouraging samples on the surface, that's not really an indicator that there's nothing there. It just
Yeah.
means that, you know, with the formation probably just dipped underground and we're just not seeing the surface indicators. So again, we have varying topography. So lots of different grade levels and stuff that were here. So when they walked the land, we found what we were expecting, and what's underground, we're going to have to just drill and see. But overall, we're very happy.
Definitely. What are the next steps after you receive the final results, and basically, when are you expecting those final results to come?
We're expecting them sometime around the end of the month, first half of March. So we should have them here pretty quick, you know, 3-4 weeks maybe. Again, the labs haven't indicated there's any delays, so we're still hoping that that timeline's true. Again, it's up to the labs at the end of the day, but we're thinking
Oh,
sometime before the first half of March, we'll have this data back. And then once we get it back, we'll compile that data. We'll sit down with the geology team. We'll kick around our options, and probably if everything looks the way we think it's going to look, we'll take the next step and apply for a drill permit. And then that'll take another 30 to 45 days once it's applied for. And in a perfect world, we'll have this project drilled ready for the summertime. And if that's the case, then we're going to move forward and drill it.
okay. Have you already asked around about the cost of drilling over there?
Yeah, we've
And
talked to different parties, and we've also looked at what other companies have done in the area, and we're looking at, you know, probably about 500,000 to do a drill program on this property. Again, that depends on how deep we go, how many holes we go. So there's some variables in there, but roughly, you know, anywhere from 3 to 500,000, we can do a program down here, probably a 10-hole program. So very economical compared to, like, say, our work in the basin where the costs are almost double up there right now, just because of things like, you know, you got to do helicopter supported or you need to drive on ice roads. But basically everything you're doing up there is just remote work. Whereas down here in Utah, there's hotel access, so the guys can jump in a hotel at Green River and be on site within half an hour. Whereas in the basin, that just doesn't happen. It's just two different areas, right? Obviously, you know, Utah is going to have some slightly lower grades compared to the basin, but I mean, there's all kinds of trade-offs here, and it just really depends on what you're like to be doing right now. And for us, Utah is really just where we're going to focus our energies right now. It fits with our budget. I mean, we're a small company. We got a small market cap. We're doing small raises, just enough to keep moving all our projects forward. So being able to get down here in Utah and, you know, churn out a resource and maybe grow our footprint in the area in the future is kind of what we want to focus on right now.
yeah, this property is really infrastructure rich. So your property is touching the roads, and some roads are even passing through the property. But what about power lines and water? Is that infrastructure also in the proximity?
For power lines are along the main highway. So in the event that we would have to run power to the site, that's very easy to do. Like I said, from the highway to the end of our lease, it's not even 2 miles. So as far as getting power into the site, that's no problem. And we have actually looked at, like, drilling. So when it comes to drilling, we did inquire already, and there is water around there that we can get access to. So as far as, like, the drilling side of things, getting water is no problem. If you want to get into, like, mining side of stuff, obviously that's a whole different scale, and that's a little farther along the road than we're ready to look yet. But overall, I'm assuming with WUC looking to build a processing facility just up the road from us, they obviously don't see any problems with water. So as far as our immediate needs, water is not an issue, and we've got infrastructure, like you said, all the roads we need to get back there. We shouldn't even have to build any roads due to our drilling. So some more cost savings right there, because building roads isn't cheap, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah.
It's just not a cheap thing. So if you can avoid building roads, it's great. So we're happy that we shouldn't have to build any, and if we do, it's probably just going to be a short little run of to get to a spot that we really just want to drill and the cost makes sense to us.
Okay, Chris, who are your neighbors over there? Is there any other mining exploration company? You mentioned Western Uranium and Vanadium. Anybody else?
Yeah. I know Encore has some properties in the area, and there's another company, I can't remember the actual name, but CTOC, they picked up some stuff in the area, but I think that company's actually associated with William Sheriff of Encore, from what I'm reading. So there's really, it's like Western Uranium and Encore in the area as far as the big players go. And then I know there's an Australian company in the area, but those are the ones that are really close to us anyway.
Excellent, excellent. So the activity is there.
Yes.
You expanded the land by 160%, and that seems like a great move, especially when you said you have these hits of scale on the new part of the property. So really a great job here. Chris, let's move to Pine Channel. This, like you said, it's a drill-ready project. What is the current status, and what are the plans for this one? Tell us more.
We're going to do some work on it this summer. We have some money here to spend up there from our flow through raise that we did. We do actually owe like a small amount for work credits for our ALX option that we have on part of the property. We own 100% of one part, but some of it is actually optioned from ALX. So we do have to do some work up there. That work will be good standing work, so we'll help keep the property in good standing for all the future times. And then we'll also satisfy that small amount of work credits we need with ALX to earn in our 70% on the land that they hold. So we'll get that done this summer and have that option agreement completed with ALX. So that'll give us the full 70% of their part that they own. And then the other part that we got from Eagle Plains, we already have the 100% ownership on that. So that 100% Eagle Plains part is actually where the historical drilling and stuff's been done. But we want to keep the whole package together. And then once we have that 70% done, at some point in the future, if it looks smart and looks wise, we'll go to ALX and talk to them about taking over the other 30%, which is written into our option agreement. So for 200,000 cash, we can assume 100% of the ALX portion of our Pine Channel property. So we're going to keep this property in good standing. Like I said, we are going to work it this summer, and we're still open to drilling it come next winter. So if everything goes good, we'll have our drilling going down in Energy Sands and winter drilling going up at Pine Channel with some, like I said, some work done on the property to help tighten up some drill targets for the winter program.
Okay, but you have also the third project in British Columbia, that's Golden Project. Give us an overview and status, especially tell us more about the results you received in December from 2023 ground exploration program. What are these results telling?
Really, so what we've got is 3 properties over there in total that make the Golden Project up. We've got our Gold Mountain, which we really like for the gold potential. We've got Vertebrae Ridge, which has got a lot of copper showings. And then Punch Bowl, we did the work up there. It's one of the smaller ones and the one we've done the least amount of work to. So really, this program we did over the summer up there give us a little more information on the project, and it does show us that there is something there. Some good numbers did come back from it. Again, we need to do a lot more work on Punch Bowl, but with this work that we did through the summer, these properties are also now in good standing till late 2025. So if we don't work the properties next year, as in like 2024 year, it's not a big deal. We do want to keep working these. We think they're great properties. We think there's shareholder value here, and we will realize that value someday for shareholders. How we go about that, whether it's a SpinCo, a JV partner where we keep part of the property, we're still open and trying to work on ideas that really value everyone, create some value for everyone inside the company. But these are great projects, and at some point, I'd love to see a drill program going on up there. I know it's not our main focus, but when you have such a great property with such, with prospectivity for gold and copper, which I'm a big fan of as a commodity base, I think these commodities are due for their day. And if in a year or two, I think gold's going to be worth way more, and I think copper is going to be worth way more. So the value of this property for us is just going to keep going up. So we'll keep it in good standing. We'll keep doing the work we need to obviously keep it in the good standing. And at some point, we'll do something with this, and I think everyone will be happy with what we come up with.
Okay, you said that that you have a plan for maybe spin it out or find the partnership. Is that for the whole property? You said it's a property with three components. So you would spin out the part of that property or the whole thing?
We'd spin out the whole thing. As a group, they're worth more than individual pieces. You need to have that little spread, right? You need to have a little spread on the properties, and it does cover a very nice trend, and they are in line along a similar trend. So we're exposed to these 2-3 spots here. Again, we've got Gold Mountain, which is named Gold Mountain because it's really favorable for the gold. And then Vertebrae Ridge is looking really promising for copper. So we'll keep focusing on probably those main two. And Punch Bowl, like I said, still needs a little more work to really figure out where its strong suit's going to be. So we'll just kind of really I'd like to see Golden Mountain get drilled at some point, honestly, because I think that could be a really exciting story for investors to hear about.
Okay. Let's move to cash, your cash position. What is your current cash position, and when do you think that you will have to go out and raise more money in 2024?
Sure. Our cash position now, we've got around 400,000 in the till, which isn't bad. We just closed a raise here the last of December for $640,000. So we're doing really good with our cash. We're not spending a whole bunch of money willy-nilly. We're putting the work into our properties, as you know. Every time we do a raise, we make sure that most of that money goes into the ground as much as possible. Because, at the end of the day, we want to generate news by working our land, and that's what we're going to do. So our cash position is still pretty strong. We've actually been getting lots of interest with our warrants. So we are seeing warrant money coming into the company. So that's really great. I mean, that money's slowly just trickling in. So obviously, we've got a bunch of warrants that are 12 cents, and those people are cashing them in. So it's putting money back into the company. Our investors are obviously very happy that, they took a private placement with us, gave us a shot, and they're seeing value there. So we're going to get that money into the till, and that's going to go a long ways towards funding what we do at Energy Sands. I mean, we have about $1 million plus in warrants right now, priced at 12 and 20 cents. If in a perfect world, we can exercise those, through the next coming months, we could almost fund our program at Energy Sands. I mean, that's a lot of warrants to get chewed through and, stuff like that. But if we did that, I think it'd be great for all shareholders because it really stops us from adding on more dilution down the road. Every penny that we can bring in right now and not go back to the market and raise is less dilution for all shareholders. So, it might hold the price down, and we might not, climb that price as fast just because every time you're doing these warrants exercises and people are, capturing some profits from their private placements, it's a drag on the share price. But honestly, it's probably a great opportunity for investors that are looking for an entry into the uranium sector. I mean, we've got a great little set of projects here. Our price is probably going to be held down a little bit while these warrants get exercised. But I think overall, at the end of the day, this is a great story. And once this selling pressure from warrants and stuff subsides, the share price will go up. And even currently, the share price is creeping up. Like, we're not getting punished, I guess would be the way to say it. Like, these warrants are coming out into the market, obviously, and our share price is creeping up over time, not dropping down. So obviously our shareholders are being very generous and not hurting the company. They're not aggressively selling or anything like that. So I think overall our share price will not suffer from this in the long haul. I think it'll be actually a real opportunity for some to get a good entry on our stock. And at the end of the day, it should lead to less dilution overall.
Definitely. And why not exercising warrants there at 12 cents and the stock is trading, depends on the day, 22 cents, 21 cents, 23 cents, etc. So it's a nice gain when it's almost 100% gain. And you have a tight share structure of barely 30 million shares outstanding. And I'm talking fully diluted shares.
Right.
All the warrants, all the options, so etc. I mean, the volumes of trading are going up. You see that, right?
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, that is important. I mean, my question is, are you satisfied with the stock trading? I mean, the volumes and how the things are going? Because the price of having a tight share structure is that stock is sometimes moving sharply up and goes also in the opposite direction very brutally.
No, I'm actually very happy. Like you said, tight share structures tend to lead to like some extreme volatility. We haven't really, seen too many extremes. Like we've had our peaks and valleys and stuff, but we've really traded in a really tight range for the most part. So I'm actually very happy with how we're trading. Our valuation is still low. But again, that's just partly due to some of these warrants exercising and stuff like that. It is going to be some selling pressure. And, overall, though, all our investors that have come in here and joined the Pegasus here since August, when we really started coming into the market and telling our story and looking for new investors. When I started this in August, we were 8 cents. We're now trading in the 20-cent range. We've got money in the till. We're exercising warrants, and the price is still appreciating. It's not going up like a rocket, which I'm happy with too. It's still appreciating. We're still very early stages. So, I mean, the markets really do want to see more from us, I think, before we really get that revalued and stuff. So we'll just keep working the properties. And I think as we, develop these properties, the market cap will come up. And that's all we can really do, is just keep doing what we have to do, keep doing what we say we're going to do. And I think it'll come together for us.
Okay. Chris, my final question: for an average investor who is looking to invest in your company and wants to know what is going to happen in the next 6 months, tell me, what is the possible news flow from the company in the next 6 to 8 months so that people know?
Sure. Well, we've got our lab results coming back from our ground program at Energy Sands, which we're very excited to see. We will probably have some kind of permitting news at some point in the future for Energy Sands, assuming that the assays look like we think they're going to look like. And then, of course, we will do some work at Pine Channel. And who knows what we do at BC. Like I said, we are going to kick some ideas around. And if an opportunity arises for us to get out there and do a program this summer, we will do it. Again, it's not going to be our main focus. We're not going to take money away from our uranium projects to do this work, because we don't have to until 2025. So really, we're going to keep working on Energy Sands, get some work done at Pine Channel. And that's what you're probably going to see for the next 6 months.
Okay, fair enough. That was Chris Timmins, Pegasus Resources CEO. Chris, thank you for coming and good luck with the projects.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.